Some people even said that the
Strength is in my people. And this podcast is about the people.
I wasn't ready for this.
The school ecosystem made me feel like I was an idiot.
Travel is the death of prejudice.
Hollywood always portrayed the Arab to be a terrorist. And I knew no matter what happens, good stories from Saudi will never reach US shores.
Our systems, our airports, our roads, everything is like, mashallah, top notch.
Humans weren't designed to work 9 to 5. God puts people in your life for a reason. And this guy was in my life for 13 years so that I can push myself to do something that was never part of the plan.
I can do better. I want to do better. I will do better.
Can I give him a hug?
Wow.
That I just wanted to do 2 things in life: take care of my family and produce episodes.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome to another episode of 2030 Leaders Mic, brought to you by CES Consulting and Pod Media Network. I am most impressed and moved by authentic and honest people that embody compassion and appreciation towards others. Podcasting wasn't heard of 10 years ago, but storytelling is ancient. Our guest today is someone whose voice and vision have become synonymous with authentic storytelling about Saudi Arabia while owning the narrative. Mohammed Islam, founder and host of the Mo Show podcast, has built a platform in English that highlights the transformations shaping our kingdoms today. From artists and athletes to being invited to the royal court, to emceeing and moderating high-level panels. What an amazing journey. And we're excited to hear all about it. Yet, what inspired me most and I asked Mo to join us today was the innovative leader I saw in him. And of course, his curiosity, which is I can totally relate to. And it's my turn today to be curious and to dive deep with the master of diving into the souls of others. Mo, we'd like to know, who are you as a person?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me and putting this all together. And thank you to everyone who's in attendance. I appreciate everyone taking time out of their night to come and hear my story. As much as maybe okay, I'll answer your question, but I guess when you're building, one floor at a time, one episode at a time, whatever it is that you're doing, sometimes you don't think that you have touched the people who you've touched. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm just right in the beginning of my journey. If I'm ever stopped and said, "Oh my God, you're Mo," it's like, "Oh, you watch?" So, maybe I should stop and smell the roses, but I don't that often. So when I say that I'm touched by everyone being here, taking times, leaving their family so that they come and hear my story, it means the world to me. And for you to put all this together, again, I thank you for it from the bottom of my heart.
Mo, may I say on that note, to stay humble and to be humble is really one of the leadership criteria.
Yeah.
And the fact that it didn't get to your head, it's not about not smelling the roses, it's about staying humble. And that's really amazing. And I thank you for staying that way. Allah yadima alaik.
Maybe it was God's plan in making me fail at pretty much everything I did up until the point of the podcast. School, a couple of the companies I worked at before, I was getting by. I wasn't passionate about it. But every school I went to, it just wasn't me, I'd be looking outside the window thinking I'd much rather be playing football. I'd much rather be doing something else, maybe something on the creative side. Mm-hmm. So it was taste of failure at every 5 years of my life. So maybe that was God's plan to, as you say, keep you humble when you finally maybe found yourself in life. That, hey, you're no stranger to failure. So just remember that in the back of your mind. So that's why I still don't feel like I've done much. But at the same time, I think it's important to give credit to yourself when it's due, because it can be used as encouragement going forward.
For sure. And you have a lot to be proud of. But I want to go back to your childhood. Let's go back way when you were, still a kid. Tell us about your childhood. So your father passed away when you were very young.
Yeah, 21.
You were
21.
21.
But I'll go back a little
Yeah,
further
go
than
back.
that. From the age of the first 10 years, I was in Dar al-Fikr here in Jeddah. I loved it because football was something we did every day. And then
Right.
after school, we play football. And I wanted to.
You're the eldest?
I'm the youngest
You're the youngest.
of 4 or 5. So at the end of it, 4 or 5. Yeah. So we Dar al-Fikr for the first grade till 6th. And I didn't love it for some reason. It was good, but at the same time, it just wasn't like a memory that I was very fond of.
Okay.
I don't know why. Maybe I should,
Okay.
speak to a therapist about that. But
We
I
all
didn't like
need
it.
therapy.
When I went to school in England at the age of 11, which I thought was very young, that's when I really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Independence, looking after yourself, no one's cleaning up after you. I got introduced to rugby, which is a sport that I really, really enjoyed, and they took football very seriously. I did 5 years in England. School again, C minus, you're borderline, okay, we'll keep you here, بس يا دوب. And then after that, my father was like, I think you do better in the American system, where there's more majors. The final test isn't going to determine the grade of the year. In America, it's cut. So the midterm is 20%.
Yeah.
Final is 25%. Attendance is 20%.
Right.
Participation is 10%. So he said that it might suit me better. برضو رحت هناك وفشلت. And then did a few years in college over there. And it was a Kalam college. So the first 21 years of my life, it's like, you really aren't that special at the whole schooling thing. Friends,
Right.
keeping in touch with them, being popular around my friends, I had no problem there.
Right.
But school was very condescending because I didn't have much to celebrate there. Moved back at the age of 21, and I was about to move to Dubai to finish university there. And my brother said, don't go in September, go in January. Why? He's like, you want to be around Baba. I was like, can you tell me why? He's like, you just want to be around him. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, he has a month to live. Yeah. I was like, oh, wow, this is 20 years old. This that was like my life was falling apart. And I remember at that age, I would have the occasional cigarette here and there. And when I saw him pass away in front of my eyes, I never touched one again. He was a smoker of 45 years. And he died very young, at 63. He would have been 83 today.
Allah yarham.
I went through that, finished 3-4 months here working at a cousin's company. And then I moved to Dubai, and I was there for 5 years, graduated from AUD, C student. And then did 13 years هنا في جدة في الصناعية at Mobil car engine oil company.
Before we get to that, I'm still going to go back and dwell a little bit.
Sure.
So you went at the age of 11 to boarding school.
Yeah.
Now, that obviously had an impact on you because you became independent. You had to be responsible of yourself, obviously.
Yep.
You didn't have the support of family around you. You needed to create friends. So weighing that versus not being the best in school. Today, I feel there's a bit too much emphasis on having A student, too
I
much
agree.
grades, certificates, bachelors of I don't know what, top and masters of XYZ. But the real skills, social skills, and actually people that are able to implement is not about certificates.
صح. But you know what, Dina? For 21 years, the school ecosystem made me feel like I was an idiot.
صحيح.
يعني when there is a math class system where you have A, B, C, D, E, and I'm actually pretty good at quick math, and I'm in E for 3 years in a row. So all the less bright kids, I was going to say dumb, all the less bright kids in one class, and all the bright ones in one class. يعني انتوا لا تعدوا معلش لا تعدوا the bright ones.
Yeah.
What kind of message are you sending
أيوة.
to kids who are growing up thinking that, oh, we are actually not that smart?
أي.
So please, لا تعدوا the ones who are smart. So when you are indoctrinated in that kind of ecosystem, it doesn't really end well. And I hope, and I said this a few times actually on the show, I hope the system isn't still like that in the UK, at least, because that's how, in the US, it wasn't the case.
Right.
In England, you are segregated based on what they think your level of intelligence is,
Right.
which is detrimental to any child growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I don't remember now the story of which of the great creators of the world, but one of them, he got a note from school that he gave to his mother, and the note said, "Your child is very stupid, and he's not allowed in the school anymore."
I think I heard that somewhere.
And the
Yeah.
mother did not relate that to her son and said, "You're too bright and too intelligent for the school. Okay. And they can't have somebody as genius as you are. So you're going to stay home and you're going to be studying at home."
There's a Japanese, and I love Japanese sayings, prophecies, studies. There's a Japanese study that had a group of Japanese people for a week talk negatively to a bowl of rice. البول of rice هذا خمج.
خمج.
Another one, they were talking positively, عاش.
True.
But there's power in the positivity of words.
Absolutely.
Just how there's power in the positivity of your teachers saying that you're smart, and therefore we are not going to segregate based on intelligence. Everyone's going to be based on whatever, you know.
It's true. So if you would have a shout out now to the education system in Saudi, what would we say?
I would say determine what a child is good at. There's a saying: if your son can hit an amazing forehand in tennis, don't get him a math tutor or teacher. Focus on what that child is good at and double down on your strengths. And I could have started an Arabic podcast, but I know that I think in English and my English is better. So I double down on my strengths so that I can own that space. If I did Arabic, it would have taken a while, maybe 5 years, until my Arabic is on par with my English. And then I'm still maybe competing, maybe not. I would say double down on whatever strength that child has and see how far you can take it.
Fair enough.
I question 13, 14 subjects up until the age of 17, 18.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
shouldn't you know kind of what your interest is, at a younger age? And what happens, Dina, is by the time they go to university for 4 or 5 years and they come out and they want to work, akbar karitha is when they don't know what to do.
Exactly.
But
Exactly. There's a huge gap.
huge gap.
There's a huge gap. There's
And
a
some
huge
people
gap.
pushed back on that and said, yeah, but Mohammed, some people are 30 and they don't know what to do. But I think the odds are more in your favor when you are put in a system where that has helped you excel in what you're good at.
Yeah.
And you start eliminating what you're not.
Yeah.
Why am I studying biology at the age of 18 if that's something I'm not going to practice or feed my family from?
Yeah. صحيح.
That's just my opinion.
I fully agree. I feel your pain. And maybe it would ease it just a little bit to know that currently the system in the universities, at least here in Saudi, they are now bringing in a lot of private sector consultants to discuss how to scale the teachings and learnings for the students in universities to prepare them for workplace. Okay, which was this huge gap. So baby steps, but we're getting there. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so on a level of mindsets, right now, this obviously affected you in a negative way at the time, but you overcame that. But then there was another, let's say, negative impact that you've had to face, which was you came back, as you said, you studied university, you came back, you started working. And you've mentioned this a couple of times in podcasts where it was a very toxic environment,
Yeah.
right? But then you're here today. So there was a shift in the mindset. Now, I don't really want to dwell on that a lot, but maybe first of all, you could tell us what is a learning that you had from the experience of being employed, working for 13 years in a toxic environment, peers, higher management, obviously not enjoying what you were doing. There's definitely a lot of learnings.
It was just
Can you
one
tell us
person.
what?
It was just one person
Okay.
who was toxic. But unfortunately, that person was the person between me and my uncle. And in order to save his job, he had to not make me look like someone who was good at what they're doing, because my rise would have been detrimental to his future.
Right.
And at the same time, my uncle had to ensure that he, takes the word of my boss while making sure that nepotism does not exist in the company ala hisabi. I think if anyone ever accused my uncle, who I love to death, he's my second father, by the way. If anyone said, yes, but you know what, you guys have nepotism, he'll be like Mohammed Islam. You know, 9 years and he's only here right now. So I could have been the case study that could support that there's no nepotism in the company. I think, to answer your question, I think God puts people in your life for a reason.
Yes.
And this guy was in my life for 13 years so that I can push myself to do something that was never part of the plan. What is it? You only know how strong you are. Yani if I asked you right now to squeeze my hand as hard as you want, show me all your strength, maybe you'll hurt my hand, maybe you won't. But if I, God forbid ever, just go with me on the analogy, put your head underwater until the point that you can't breathe anymore,
I would find the strength
that you
to
wouldn't
grab
believe.
you down
I
under
will be
with me.
flattened. If
True.
it to save your own life, I would be flattened. And I
Absolutely.
think I'm kind of strong.
صح.
Okay? So having that guy in my life gave me mental strength to be like, listen, if for whatever reason I can't break through this level and take his job, or if my uncle is taking his word because he's known him for 30 years and there's a lot of trust there, and he also trusts and loves me, but he needs to be diplomatically correct in this corporate environment. I was like, I'm just wasting my time here. So COVID came and I had a minute to jump off that hamster wheel. And I was like, I don't want the next 13 years to be like the last. The first 5 years was cute. And Mohammed, mashallah, he managed to stay in the company and he was decent. But the 6 or 7 years that trailed it, I gained a bit of confidence. I was like, I should not be still earning what I'm earning. I should not be doing this job for year 7. I think I can give more. And maybe more importantly, I wanted more from life. But COVID came and I watched Rogan and it was an aha moment. I was like, we don't have that in Saudi, and Saudi is very misunderstood. I عشت abroad for 15 years. ينصدموا لما نقول لهم إني سعودي. Is it safe there? Do you guys get bombed? Camel to work, oil in your backyard. شفناها كلها. And I said, now through decentralized media, I can say what I always wanted to say because I always felt that I represented the country on some level.
Yes.
And within a week, we got the equipment online, which I still have till today, and we shot our first episode. And at the end of our first episode, it was with my best friend, Mohammed Islam. Me and the editors were there, khalas, we want to hear it, we're excited. And my microphone was off.
Dun, dun, dun.
So I could have easily said, this isn't for me. Back to corporate I go, back to the corporate toxic boss I go, this is not for me. I could have easily did that. But I said, you know what, this is just a bump in the road. I really want to make this work. And I think if I stay consistent with it, it could be my new career. And we shot the next episode the following day. We published it. And then عليها every 10 days an episode. 5 years later, we're at episode 160. And I've been doing this full time, دحين, for 2 years.
MashaAllah.
So if there's one thing, أعوذ بالله من كلمة أنا, but the point in saying all that is that it was the consistency element. The posting an episode with Arabic translations every 10 days. And never, alhamdulillah, were we in a position where we were like, ما عندنا ضيوف. Who are we going to get on? اتسهلت من ربنا. Even when we publish an episode and we have nothing shot, when I had a second to think, okay, what are we going to do? 3 would appear.
MashaAllah.
I think لما النية تكون صافية and you're doing it for the right things, God's work.
Absolutely.
And I prayed to do it full time. And he gave it to me after 3 years.
Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. We're going to get into this amazing journey that you've achieved. But I'm going to take a step back because it's not just consistency. That's making a podcast, a podcast, right? But for you to be able to do that takes a lot of resilience, huh? You've been through all of the stories that you mentioned so far, like not being good in school, so being put in a situation where you're made to be felt as a dumb person, being in the toxic environment, not having the opportunity, which is a case of a lot of family business, huh? And then we have, a huge percentage of the country's GDP is based on family businesses.
Correct.
So this is an issue in family businesses. And today governance is really becoming one of the major points that all family businesses need to have, exactly to avoid these situations and this toxic environment that you have been facing, right? And many others. So the resilience that you built, the internal independence that you built, the drive that took you from, okay, no, I can do better. I want to do better. I will do better, right? For myself, for my family, and then for the kingdom, which is a beautiful story. The reason behind the story behind why you started that book was I want the feeling once again of when the epiphany came, COVID, you're trapped at home, you're watching Joe Rogan, and this epiphany, right?
Yeah.
So, what was the feeling and the urge? Describe it?
يعني I would love to
Describe
say
it.
it was a euphoric sensation, but it wasn't. It was, oh, this is it. This is it for me. يعني literally on that level. This is what
It wasn't the first show that you watched.
it wasn't, but he had someone on the show that was speaking to me.
There you go.
You know, humans it spoke to me. It might not speak to everyone. And the humans weren't designed to work 9 to 5. Own a piece of a business. End of the industrial revolution is the beginning of the information revolution. أنا جاي من industrial city. So كأنه بيكلمني أنا. And I didn't own a piece of a business. I was doing 9 to 5 and I was in the industrial revolution still. So, but he was saying it on a podcast. And I was looking at Rogan and I was like, we don't, that seat is empty in Saudi. Adil Al-Jubair, Princess Rima, amazing in the way they do what they do, but they have to speak from the voice of up here.
صح.
We don't have a voice
Yeah.
from the street.
Yeah.
And I saw that gap in the market. And I said, maybe, just maybe one day, the government will empower me to communicate on some level, or use me, or take me to G20 with the Crown Princess Media Delegation. يعني in a million years, I wouldn't think that was would happen, and it did.
Yeah, we're at the royal court.
And then the royal court to get an invite by MBS himself.
Yeah.
So I think maybe it was a bit of lightning that struck, and maybe one of the only things I've ever been right about. And whoa, that seat is empty. Maybe I should fill it until someone better than me can fill it.
But you know what you just said? Who actually touched you was the guest,
Yeah, Naval. Yeah,
right? So I think in Nia, the intention, you wanted to become that host to bring guests that would leave an impact on the listeners as you were impacted.
Yep.
Which was a positive impact. So that, Nia, for you, it was a positive impact that changed your life. It wasn't maybe it was actually, it changed your perception, right? It changed your mindset. It was like, okay, I need to stop this where I am. I'm not happy, blah, blah, blah. I need to do what this guy is actually advising to do.
Yep.
So this intention, I think, combined with the fact that you lived in the States, you were facing all the stereotyping that, we've all as Saudis been facing. And يعني you Saudis, blah, 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 all this يعني nonsense.
Endless, yeah.
يعني endless, that is really aggravating. And all we have to do is يعني have this, defensive, لا والله, let me show you pictures, let me show you this, let me show you that. More I can relate when I would be a speaker somewhere internationally and I'm on stage and I'm speaking about my stuff in sustainability and circular economy. And so I have my scarf on, okay, for the sake of yani, keeping my Saudi look. I'm not a Saudi delegation. I'm a private sector. When I get off stage, they would come to me and they're like, are you Saudi? Yeah, I'm Saudi, but they left all the content that I was just speaking about, which is hardcore sustainability and science and, and they're like, but how are you Saudi? I mean, aren't you covered and women are not allowed to do anything and blah, blah, blah. And they just ramble on that.
See how twisted they have it? That's where the podcast was born from.
Yes, I know.
We were so misunderstood, misconstrued, given enough credit that we have never been given before. And I think what really like resonated with me is that we were way more sophisticated than anyone ever gave us credit for.
Absolutely.
We heard you guys are terrorists and it's unsafe. I'm sorry, Saudi is safer than any US city, alhamdulillah,
MashaAllah.
where we're at right now.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
the actual didn't reflect the reputation.
Bah.
And I knew no matter what happens, good stories from Saudi will never reach US shores. And what we're seeing today is a complete shift in the media landscape. Decentralized media has allowed you to gain access to any niche, any bit of information you're interested in. If you loved something as niche as bird watching, for example, you'll probably find 50 professional bird watchers through the podcasting world or YouTube, where you can find the exact information you want on that. I'm really into cars. So if I'm gonna do something stupid like buy a new car, and I say buy a new car because depreciation is real and I don't want to do that anymore, I can find that exact specific car in the color I want being tested by 50 different people.
Right.
So the media landscape has transformed from a few mics in a few hands to mics in many hands. And content, the quality of content determines who makes the charts. So the message wasn't getting across the world that, Saudi is actually not what you think it is. It's this. We always used to rely on other people telling them about us.
Absolutely.
But today we can eliminate the middleman and we can tell the world about us. Hear it from the source. Why is there people telling people about us? No. Hear it from us. What if someone's like, okay, Mo, what do you mean people telling people? Hollywood always portrayed the Arab to be a terrorist.
True.
So khalas, imprinted. I just
Or
came back
Bedouins
from
on camels.
on camels. I went to Russia. I was with Saudi Airlines in Russia. They launched a new route, Riyadh, Moscow. I was there for 3-4 days. Yeah. I went there worried whether I should take my watch with me or not.
Yeah.
I went there worried if I can walk in the street after 9 o'clock. It turns out Moscow, safety-wise, زي جدة والرياض.
ما شاء الله.
الاستخبارات اللي عندهم is on another level. It is super safe. They are a paranoid, from what I heard from the people there, they're a paranoid state. So their level of intelligence is very, very high. Security is very, very high. I walked around. I know we're digressing, but I walked around Friday night at 10 p.m., اللي هو weekend, through the liveliest cities. I wanted to get 10,000 steps in, through the liveliest cities with my watch on, and not once. And going through bars and restaurants, there are people drinking. So that's where trouble typically happens in European cities. Sorry, in London, I would have gotten a few eyes there. What kind of watch are you wearing?
You
in
wouldn't
Moscow,
dare to wear a watch in London
in Russia?
anymore.
Oh my God. كأني ماشي في الرياض. كأني ماشي في جدة.
ما شاء الله.
So my point is that I was led to believe that Russia, mafia, dangerous.
True.
The bad guy in Rocky. Russia, they're tense. No, absolutely not.
There's a saying by Mark Twain that is the travel is the death of.
And it's the death of false information or people making up BS about cultures that do not exist.
Judgmentalness. What's the right word? Prejudice. Yeah. Prejudice is the right word.
Yeah.
Travel is the death of prejudice. Because when you travel, you go, you see for yourself. And I love the fact that on the Mo Show, you're inviting people from around the world to come and visit. You're going to Al-Ula, you're shooting in different venues, and bringing in people that are actually running all these projects. So they're having a realization and the taste of what is the real Saudi, what is this all about, and it's a whole different mindset. So you're giving this insight that is not done by the Visit Saudi, which is, they're doing an amazing job, by the way. An amazing job.
So good.
Yeah, and you see them now in alleys in different streets in Europe, Visit Saudi and all of that.
Yeah.
Right? It's spectacular, honestly. But then some people could say, okay, they're doing their media, blah, blah, blah. Unlike when, you have the real deal, you have people coming in, talking about whether they're Saudis or a lot of them are actually foreigners. So when the foreigners, non-Saudis, different nationalities that are living here, working here on these projects, and it's their stories, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Because, it's like they're talking to their own people, saying, not knowing it, but it's, they're saying, Tara, this country is real. What they're doing is real. Absolutely everything they're saying is beyond the world's expectations. And ahlan wa sahlan.
I smile while you're saying that because you reminded me of a story that one of the most touching stories from that was to come from the podcast, or the effect of the podcast on people. There's a guy that lived in New York. He's originally Indonesian, so he'd go back and he'd visit his family once a year. And he connects in Jeddah, so he goes JFK, Jeddah, Jakarta. And he told me the story 3 months ago. He messaged me on Instagram. And he's like, Mohammed, on the flight from JFK to Jeddah, I was just going through, I saw all the movies, I was just going through TV, and I saw a picture of Princess Rima. So I clicked on her, and this was one of the reasons why I was very excited about my partnership with Saudiya. And the guys, the marketing team there, and me were very bullish that the podcast needs to be on the in-flight entertainment system.
That was
Huge,
such a
honestly,
spectacular,
like, yani,
epic
alhamdulillah,
move. Epic move.
Massive.
MashaAllah.
And the effects of it
Yeah.
online, like
Yeah.
people's reaction was far greater.
Yeah.
It was, I think we got as much traction as maybe Princess Rima's episode.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we're on the
I watched a
on
couple
the
of the
airline.
episodes on the flight.
On the flight.
On the flight. Yeah.
So the guy said, I was watching Princess Rima's, and 15 minutes into it, I wanted to see if I can, because I just connect in Jeddah. I never enter Saudi. So when he arrived in Jeddah, he changed his return to spend 2 nights in Jeddah or in Riyadh. And he's like, I'm actually messaging you now, having just spent 2 nights in Saudi after visiting my family because of your podcast.
That's amazing.
When I heard that story, wallahi, yani, and maybe a few others, but that one specifically, I was like, wow, maybe this podcast is making a difference. And that's something I'll never forget.
No, it's surely making a difference. I grabbed out a couple of statistics. So Karma's reputation report on Saudi Arabia, okay? And the positive shift in global perception is 25% up from 2024. Growing favorability among global audience towards Saudi Arabia. 59% of surveyed people across countries like the UK, USA, India, Singapore, and Russia expressed a positive sentiment towards Saudi Arabia. 37% said their views had become more favorable over the past 12 months. I mean, and it goes on. These statistics.
12 months only, from 24
12
25.
months only.
Wow.
So much has been happening. And Mo, your show has also played such a big role in this. And yani, I think it's so heartwarming to know that. صح ولا لا? It's something to be very proud of. We are all proud of the Mo
Even if
Show.
we contribute this much.
We are so proud of the
I'll
Mo
take
Show
that.
because you did play a big role in these numbers. Okay, obviously Vision 2030, everything that the country is doing, but on all levels, the contribution, all of us have a role in this, right? We all have a role. And it's our role at the end of the day to speak to the world, to show the world what we're doing. Because what we're doing is not something simple. We are literally leading the world. And alhamdulillah, mashallah, tabarakallah, MBS has said it in one of his interviews, right? He was like, watch the new creation. I don't want to quote him because I'm not using the right words, but it was, we are creating history.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that. I
we
mean,
are creating history. We are creating history.
but I mean, that's you see it in so many different touch points.
many.
And I think what the best way, the most effective way to change people's perceptions of any country is to have them come through the door. And I said it recently. If the Ministry of Tourism, with I don't know if it's Jamarik or what, but putting 90 visas available on the e-visa system that you can get within 5 minutes, 90 countries can apply for that.
Yeah.
Ministry of Tourism had to nail that, and that they did. Ministry of Sports with the F1 track, with Dakar, with Formula E, with the endless footballing tournaments that we host, the Spanish Cup, the Italian Cup. It's endless.
Everything.
The FIFA Club World Cup, Ministry of Culture. So not only do you have to get the visa system going, but when people come, there needs to be things to do. And getting people through the doors has been a huge contribution to the figures you just shared. Now, imagine I was in Osaka, 2 weeks ago. I saw what the expo was all about. I had no clue what an expo was. The expo is a city on its own. It is a very, very impressive whole new frontier that I knew nothing about.
Right.
Every country showcasing what they do. Now, imagine the number of people that are going to start coming to Saudi from now up until Expo 2030, which today, by the way, has officially been handed to Saudi. It was trending on Twitter earlier. So when 2030 hits, the number of people that are going to come to Saudi for the first time and leave with that impression, and I didn't think Saudi was this, and then they leave telling people what they saw. And then 4 years after that, the World Cup. So there are these two global events happening in the next 9 years, which you can expect that number, even though it went up 44% in 12 months, you can times that by 50 or 100.
Exactly.
Getting people through the door, because until they come, they think you are what they see on Hollywood.
Very true.
Which is not good.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. The similarity between us, Mo, is you wanted to speak to the world and show them what Saudi's transformation is. 2030 Leaders Mike is about the Saudi leaders that are actually making that happen. So Vision 2030, MBS, okay, he put the vision. Allah يحفظه ويطول عمره.
Ameen.
He said, the strength is in my people.
Yep.
And this podcast is about the people.
Yep.
Right? It's the leaders that are actually implementing all this that you're saying. They're going to come, they're going to see this, and they're going to see X, Y, Z. And all of this is done by Saudis and Saudi amazing leaders, right? And you're one of them. This podcast that you created by a Saudi, with the vision of a Saudi, with the resilience of a Saudi, right? And so that's what this podcast is about as well. It's about the leaders that are implementing everything that all these people are coming in and seeing. So yes, we do have a lot of foreigners in the country. We welcome them. We learn also because they have know-how from years and technologies maybe that we are still developing ourselves. But the amazing part is that we have spectacular
I'm blown away.
scientists. We have, among the people, the guests that are here, the audience, these are all leaders in different domains, different sectors. You're talking from engineering to marketing to artistry to education to medical scientists, you name it, leaders in that domain. And they are actually the ones implementing this vision. And they're the ones that are, when foreigners come in and see, oh, wow, this is Saudi, it's done by the people of Saudi Arabia. It's such a pride, isn't it?
I
It's
think
such a pride,
it
wallahi.
really is, Dina. I mean, if you think about how storied Saudi is in the medical field, with he escapes my name, but I think it's Al Maali Al Rabi'a who separated the Siamese twins.
Yep.
Abdullah, if I'm not mistaken.
Sahih.
And he's been doing this for 20 years. He heads now King Salman Humanitarian Aid. The Saudi has led medical for a long time, and maybe our praises were never sung enough.
Sahih.
You look at a sector like aviation, okay? Outside of maybe the Far East, and I would still challenge it. I mean, you look at the infrastructure in the aviation world. There was this lady on LinkedIn. She was shocked when she did Abu Dhabi, Doha, Jeddah. She had three cities: Abu Dhabi, Doha, Jeddah. She's like, the airports in the Gulf. There is. Can we just talk about that for a second? There is no region in the world that is on such. And we fly all the time, so maybe we don't
Ya
realize.
Allah, Amana, what is the feeling nowadays?
Yeah.
When we travel anywhere in Europe, let's say, I'm sorry, I don't want to name any specific countries, but honestly, we go there and we're like, now we're frustrated from their airports, from their systems, because we got so spoiled. Our systems, our airports, everything is smooth. Our roads, everything is like, mashallah, top notch.
Top notch. I was in.
So now we're traveling there. Okay, we just miss the weather.
Yeah.
And the greenery,
They have
right?
that,
I
yeah.
mean, the
Watch
nature.
us come up with a solution
But
for that.
Even nature we have, but not in our cities, not in everywhere. But we want nature, go to Abha, go to Suda,
Yeah.
go to Jizan.
So
Oh my
diverse.
God.
Yeah.
I literally was taking a shower under a waterfall in Jizan, in my own country.
Wow. They say very nice there. Very nice.
Spectacular.
And they have the best mendi.
And they
We took the metro in Osaka
Yeah.
from where we were, 2 stops to the expo. And while we were going there, we shot a documentary that's going to come out soon. I just had to take a peek at see if it's driverless or driver. So I look And then I'm like, and the guys who are the documentary, they're like, Mo, what? I'm like, yeah, you guys have drivers here in Riyadh, it's driverless.
يا سلام. I love it.
نضرب
I love
المثل في
it.
اليابان.
أيوة.
Do you know?
True.
And even something like
كوكب اليابان لو سمحت.
that's what I was led to believe. Okay, so bullet train. I bought a ticket online. You log in as if it's an email. It's quite intense. After you buy the ticket, they send you a QR code. That QR code, you take it to the station. You scan it. It gives صراحة. It gives you a number. That number, you put it in the computer. Salamat. Why? Well, what are we doing here? هنا قطار الحرمين. You buy it. It's PDF to your email. انتهينا.
Very true.
So this bothers me because I missed 2 trains because of that. And I was just very proud that Al-Yaban, as amazing as they are, and they've been doing everything for a very long time. But I was in Japan in the middle of the bullet train environment, and I was thinking of Qatar al-Haramain.
الحمد لله. ما شاء الله تبارك الله.
Alhamdulillah. And they still take cash over here. هنا راعي الحبحب, you can pay Apple Pay.
Very true.
You know? هناك
Very true.
Apple Pay in a place like Extra.
Very true.
We're really digressing. A place like Extra or Sacco, you know, full electronics place, huge. جيت بدفع Apple Pay for a hard drive. قال لي no, I need the physical card. Apple Pay ممنوع. قال physical card or cash even better.
You know, Mo, all the stories you're saying, معلش يعني, بس it makes me think to what extent everything you're saying is about sustainability. You know that you're promoting sustainability. I mean, this is my domain, so my brain thinks that way. So معلش, bear with me. But really, you're talking about economic growth and economic diversity of Saudi Arabia. You're showing this, right? You're talking about how the environment is preserved. You're talking about Al-Ula, you're going to the Red Sea, you're showing all of these amazing stuff, right? You're talking about the culture, right? Which is the social aspect. And I mean, we can't get any more socially cultured, promoted than what's happening in Saudi Arabia. With all the growth and all this openness that's happening, but we are very tight-knit in sense of our culture, holding on to that, keeping the society, and this is the third pillar. These are the 3 pillars of sustainability. So if you don't realize it, you are literally promoting sustainability of Saudi Arabia to the world.
Never realized that.
So we have digressed a lot. I want to go back when you were talking about the medical part. So Mo, you've talked a couple of times that you have a heart issue, right?
Yeah, heart issue, it makes it sound a lot worse than it is.
Okay.
It's a benign case of ectopic beats that have gotten more frequent with age and stress. Because when you're young, you don't have much to stress about, and you don't know what anxieties are or panic attacks, which is something that I think is important to be taught. When I had my first episode, it was way worse because I wasn't educated about it. If I did know about it, I would know what on earth it was when it happened and not feel like this is it. Talking about panic attacks here.
So you thought you were dying.
Oh yeah,
it was the end.
I was convinced. I was like, oh, this is death.
Halas.
37 years, it was a good run.
Okay. What did you tell your wife?
I told her that, yeah, absolutely. I was like, I was, a kilometer away from the house. I had to pull over. I didn't think I was going to see you again. Our son was 6 months old. So it was way worse because, I had the second one after it, third after it, nowhere near as bad, and none since. This was like 7, 8 years ago. So I think, on the subject of mental health and all that, I think it's important to educate our kids on it on a younger age. These ectopics that I get, I've had probably 3 so far since I've been sitting with you. I've learned to deal with them. I've learned to deal with them. No, you didn't. It's because of the caffeine, but I needed it so I can stay awake. Okay. I'm still on Japanese time.
Japanese.
So I get it from time to time. Sugar, I eliminated it pretty much all. And with the elimination of sugar, it has pretty much gone. But something that I've been putting up with that is getting a little bit better. But on some days, it really does consume me.
I'll tell you why I brought this up.
Yeah, why?
Is because I've heard you in one of your episodes, you talked about it, but then you also said that when your mind shift, you adjusted your mindset, you shifted your mindset in a way that, not to think of it in a negative and not to focus on it, you simmered down, you had way less attacks than ever before. And it went down a lot. And that struck me, the mindset part.
Yeah.
How to adjust the mindset. And I think this is really, it's a really important capability. It's not something that we're born with, right? And it's something that throughout our lives and situations in our lives, whether it's on a health level, whether it's on a work stress level, whether it's even on a family level, mindset is so important, right?
Yeah.
And so I wanted you to tackle or tell us about how did you manage to shift the mindset from the panic, to calm down and to actually look at it from a positive way, and which ends up in you actually become okay.
I think I was trying to see what the message is that God is trying to send me here. And the moment I did that, the frequencies did reduce significantly. And I think the message that God was trying to send me is what I was dealing with, nobody can see. It's not like blood, it's not a broken bone. You can't see it. No one knew about it until I mentioned it. What I felt that the message that God was sending me is that be a little bit more sympathetic or empathetic when you are dealing with anyone in walks of life. I think I'm a kind person, but I think I can be kinder. I think we can all be kinder. I don't think you can be too kind. So if I'm talking to Dina or Ahmed or Sarah, you don't know what they're going through. So just how no one knows that what I'm going through right now, and especially in episodes where I really want them to go well and I'm a little tense or moderating in Arabic, I'll get it a lot, but they don't know about it.
True.
So let's see what the message that God's trying to send me. Be more empathetic and more sympathetic. You don't know how much time you have in life, so just maximize every day. Get closer to God. Don't take health for granted. I just started listing all the things that I'm learning from this. Spend more time with your kids. When I started looking at the benefits that I'm getting from this, they started occurring less. But the message, what's God trying to tell me? And I listed, I have it written down, it's probably up to 11, but I just counted maybe the 5 top ones for me.
So تعداد النعم.
Yeah.
يعني counting all the blessings, focusing on the blessings that we have instead of focusing on all the negative things. I mean, life is full of يعني pluses and minuses, right? But the focusing on the negatives and all the bad things makes it worse.
Yep.
Focusing on the good things, all the positive things, living the moment is basically what you're saying, right? Live the moment,
Yeah.
be thankful,
Yeah.
focus on all the blessings that you have.
What you have and not what you don't have.
And that actually creates abundance, right?
To be honest with you,
It brings in more khair.
For sure, definitely. There's no doubt about that. I got in yesterday at around 4 p.m. from Russia. And because of the whole no cash situation, I have to sign everything to the room. And the room service was questionable. Even though it was a 5-star hotel, it wasn't that good. Maybe I lost a kilo on the trip. More importantly, when I got to Jeddah, I was like, okay, you know what? I want to order my favorite thing. I spoke to my wife, Sarah. I'm like, Sarah, what should I have? Should I order for my favorite burger place or the Iranian place we love? And then I stopped for a second. She's like, what's wrong? I was like, Alhamdulillah that I have the choice. Do you know, especially what we've seen in the media the last 2 years in Gaza, the fact that I just said, and I stopped myself, I'm like, Alhamdulillah إنه يعني بيدي القرار إيش أقدر أطلب.
وتدلع كمان.
You know, like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So that alone was a moment where I was thankful for the option that I had, the ability to order and to order what I want to eat.
صحيح.
Again, going back to counting our blessings, we can live years, you and I, 5-10 years, and not think for 1 second and know, oh my God, yani, alhamdulillah, we can choose if we want to have Chinese today or if we want this today, or we can. But I think if you count your blessings more, you'll be a happier person, and I think God will even give you more.
Alhamdulillah, absolutely. So how's Sarah dealing with the new Mo, the famous Mo, the big traveler Mo?
She keeps me
the
grounded.
Mo that's not home very much.
She keeps me grounded. She's like, don't think you're some hotshot. No, I'm
Hey.
kidding. Honestly, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have been able to do all this traveling. يعني في الرياض minimum 4 times a month, So from Wednesday until end of month, that's 2 weeks away from the kids. So, her holding it down while I'm gone and she allows me to do what I do is blessing, is a huge blessing in my life, صراحة. And when
Just
I am
another
home,
one
I
to
try
add to the list. MashaAllah,
definitely,
tabarakallah.
yeah,
Allah
you're
yadayim alayk.
absolutely right. And it comes at a time that's maybe not ideal because we have twins and they're 2 years old. And the other day, Sarah said, she told our little boy, and she has an appointment to do her hair. And then he said, his name is Nuh. He's like, Mama, you will go like Baba.
Oh,
But he was
habibi.
affected by,
Eh.
the last couple of trips, and they're very aware. But it's hard to leave them at this age. But the opportunity is there, and I'm blessed to have opportunities. Unfortunately, most of them are in Riyadh, where I wish we had the Hyperloop at this point, so I can
Inshallah, inshallah,
back.
inshallah, coming soon. But on that note, I have to say this: the fact that you did come a little bit late to the podcast, but the reason behind that was like you said, I'm going to put my twins to sleep. So it's you're balancing, you're trying to balance.
Sorry, I was late, by the way.
No, you're excused because you gave the time, which became scarce.
Yeah.
It became scarce. You just came back from a trip. You just came back from Russia. Blah, 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 blah. You're running. And thank you for actually, you're in this tight schedule and you're here. But fair enough. At least you gave the time to be with your kids,
sure.
put them to sleep, So, you try to compensate. It's not easy to juggle what you're doing.
No, it's not. But it was also my dream from 5 years ago, when I started. I just wanted to do two things in life. Mainly, obviously, a lot more things, but ideally just two focal points in terms of work. If you want to call looking after your kids or family work or not, that's up to you. But I wanted to do two things, which is take care of my family and produce episodes.
Okay, well, on that note, I think you thought you would have all the time in the world because you'd be just doing episodes, which for you to do episodes, you actually founded the Mo Show, which is not just sitting on the chair and interviewing somebody and having a wonderful discussion. There is a whole lot of work that's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Now you have to create a company. You have all of the setup.
Yeah, pay tax, which is due in 2 weeks.
Tax.
Yes, anyone
You have
else
to pay
needs to pay tax.
tax. You have to pay salaries. You have to deal with all of a sudden CR registrations.
All of that fun stuff.
So welcome to the world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Right?
Not
But
easy.
then tell us about that
I mean, I
journey.
just wanted to
That's going from employment 9 to 5,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
To wanting to be a host of a podcast, which you have done the amazing job with this whole great journey that we talked about. But then there's the entrepreneurship behind the scenes. So tell us about that journey.
it comes with that, right? I mean,
does.
you can, and 9 to 5 is bliss because once you're done, you're done. You don't have to
Now
worry
you say
about.
that. The
You don't
irony.
have to, you're on someone's payroll. You don't have to think about payroll. You don't have to think about budgets. You don't have to think about renewing your media license. You don't have to think about paying. I went to shoot an episode 3 months ago. We got there, turn on the lights. I didn't pay the bill for the office, for the studio. I was like, I didn't even register this bill on my thing. So that's another thing that I, that's so many details. So if you want this life, and it's not easy, it's going to come with a lot more challenges than. By the way, I could see why my brother, who is a Wharton grad, who is one of the smartest people I know, maybe I resent him a little bit for not being the Minister of Finance of Saudi Arabia, because I think he's good enough to have been that
Mashallah.
numbers guy through and through. I mean, Wharton,
Mashallah.
UPenn, right?
So he's a straight A student.
All of that.
Oh.
Yeah, I was often compared to
Hey.
Safir
I
Mohammed.
kind of,
yeah,
I kind of felt
yeah,
that. Okay,
yeah.
therapist, inshallah.
Yeah. But I can see why
Yeah.
he is, who's one of the smartest people I know, didn't choose to start his own company, and worked in the family business after, from one to another. ريح راسه. And that could work for a lot of people. It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So if you want to do this and be an entrepreneur, it's going to come with some proverbial tax that you have to be aware of, including the actual tax that you have to pay.
Yeah.
But if you get it right, it can be very rewarding. The upside can be very huge. Early days, people reached out to my mom and maybe my brother as well. and said, "Does Mohammed know what he's doing? Because in Saudi, you can't just say whatever you want on a microphone. It's 2020. So like, let just be what we love him, but we don't want him to get into trouble."
Right.
Some people even said, "هذا حينتهي في الحبس." But I knew what my mission was, and maybe sometimes I speak with a little passion, but it's always passion towards getting the narrative straight on what Saudi is, because actual did not match the reflection of the perception that the West have of us. So I knew what I wanted to convey. I was always a little upset that I didn't start earlier. And then my wife Sarah said, "I think you started at the perfect time." Because if I did start in 2015 or 2010, would there have been enough for me to talk about اليوم ما بنلحق? Like what MBS, the vision, and that whole ecosystem created was, even someone for me who's just a podcaster has given us content to discuss. So if I started earlier, maybe it would have worked, maybe not, most likely not.
Yani, subhanallah, I believe that God puts everything in the correct time for us. We don't understand it.
Correct. If you're a good person.
If you're a good
I
person.
think if you're a good person, God will give you that back. You can't be a prick or a thief or any of the fill in the gaps and say, "Oh well, God's going to give it to me in the right time." I think if you give him what he wants, praying 5 times a day, siyam, zakah, all of the al-arkan, and being a good person at the same time,
being a good person,
then
from
he
the
will
inside.
give you what you pray for.
Very true. But it was about the timing, right?
Yeah.
Yani, you were talking about the timing. What if I wish I started earlier, right? In 2015. And it's spot on. I mean, back then, it probably would not have succeeded the way it had succeeded today. For various reasons, not just the fact that there wasn't much to talk about. There was, wallah, to be honest, there was a lot to talk about. But there's the demograph was different. Everything was different, So for subhanallah, yani the timing God puts in our paths changes and delays things for us and expedites other things for us that not necessarily عسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وأسعى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو
خير.
أيوه.
Yep.
فسبحان الله يعني هذه it's a belief. If you believe in that, يصير في رضا, يصير في اطمئنان, which is يعني
رضا is
contentment.
Yeah, contentment.
Contentment.
Further to what you just said, I think at 2015 I was 30 years old. Maybe I wouldn't have conducted myself as well on screen. Maybe I would have said something that could have been culturally or socially unacceptable. Maybe I would have not had any wisdom I have at 40, at 30. So again,
Absolutely.
like I could have been
Absolutely.
an idiot and not marketable and buried the project after 6 episodes.
صحيح.
So again, further to your point, everything.
On that note, I want to say one thing. Today's Saudi, I think, is from the most democratic countries in the world. Democracy today here is embodied. You walk in the street and you see covered, totally veiled women by their choice. You see other Saudi women walking without the abaya altogether. It's a matter of choice, and not one looks at the other with judgment, okay? Or with, shabab, our youth, Saudi men could be wearing a full Saudi attire with the shmagh and everything on, the full gear. And another one's in his shorts and tank top.
I saw that walking through the yacht club right now.
And zero judgment.
I loved seeing that.
There's full respect for everyone's choice.
Correct. I lived in Dubai for 5 years, 05 till 2010, and I took note of to each his own. I took note of that in the mall. الروسية with her hair showing, والمنقبة واللي كاشفة وجهها واللي لابسة مستر shirt, with the guys as well, اللي لابس short, اللي لابس jeans, اللي لابس شماغ, اللي لابس بشت, to each their own. And I took note of that. And in 2005 to 2010, Saudi wasn't that.
No.
Today you go to Red Sea, you go here, it's that. The Filipino ladies who are in Saudi, they're not wearing abayas. They're able to wear whatever They want, and I enjoyed seeing that because I think it hits on the quality of life when you have the choice to wear what you want.
Yeah.
One of the things that contribute to a quality of
Pretty
life.
much do everything that you want.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So I'm going to go back to your entrepreneurship, right? So you started the podcast, which is a whole story of entrepreneurship, and you still didn't tell us one major learning, okay, a tough one that you faced starting up this business.
Yeah, actually, it was quite a big one. The show started making money after 2.5 years, and a year passed by, and I decided not to take موضوع al-tax as seriously as I should have.
Okay.
I didn't have an accountant. The tax that was coming in built up.
Rookie mistake.
A rookie mistake. and 6 months later, I saw how much I had to pay. And you know, in life, when you get stung, لما تاكلي لك مو انتي كف.
I've got many. Believe me, many throughout the years, many kufuf.
But that's the only way you learn.
That's the way you
right?
learn. Exactly.
And I love my cars, and I love that specific car, and I had to sell a car to pay for tax. Now, me and my accountant, before I left to Russia, we closed. We know how much we have. Money is ready, and we're going to pay it. Even though it's due in 2 weeks, we're going to pay it in the next 2 days.
advance.
فلما الواحد ياكل له علقة وعلى حظي ربنا كان في مبادرة على how much tax. So I think I got like a 50% discount. Or maybe the house would have been in question. You know? So alhamdulillah, دعوات الوالدة. But now, okay, you know, I'm at fault. Luckily, I dodged the bullet. Now, so I think being a bit more responsible with, you know, tax money that needs to go somewhere. Have an accountant, know your expenses, know your costs. I think I perfected that today.
MashaAllah. Knowing the regulations.
All of that.
Yeah.
You know, all I wanted to do was speak about my country.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah. I get it.
Now I meet with my accountant 4 times a year.
Aywa.
Again, experience, ukufuf is the best teacher.
So now
They're laughing at
you
me.
learned, you got your cuff, right? And you learned your lesson. And you're paying in advance now, so that's a good thing. But now you're also, it seems like you're liking the life of an entrepreneur because you are starting some new ventures. You mildly said that in one of your episodes, كده just kind of slid through, like اللي هو starting like a production house or something like that.
So we did our first one in Osaka with the Expo Pavilion and the Cultural Development Fund. I think the way that me and my team landed upon this was that for 5 years we were telling people about Saudi,
Right.
from tripods and a studio, which is great. 162 episodes.
MashaAllah.
فهمنا. Okay, that can coexist, but also now show us. You told us for 5 years. Now show us.
حلو.
So we're working with something with Red Sea to do some docks over there.
MashaAllah.
I don't know if this is confidential or not, but anyway, the cat's out the bag. We're doing something with another Giga project for Riyadh.
MashaAllah.
And the Expo one, we dropped the trailer yesterday. The 10-minute documentary will probably be online in the next week or so,
MashaAllah.
where it's me speaking to cameras on the move. I'm a bit uncomfortable. I'm a lot more comfortable doing something like this without the crowd. But where I know where the cameras are, where I'm not looking at the lens.
Right.
In Osaka, it was very weird for me to speak into a lens. I'm used to speaking to eyes.
Yeah.
So that took an adjustment.
Yeah.
But when I saw the footage, I was like, yeah, we need more of this.
MashaAllah.
Someone said Anthony Bourdain vibes of Saudi Arabia.
All right.
Because that doesn't exist.
صح.
Yani low, Red Sea did something with Warner Brothers. I think Dir'iyya did something with CBS. These Americans, they come, they shoot, and they go. So having someone from here, in-house production team, Saudi host, to go onto these places and shoot firsthand, there's now a gap in the market there. So we are jumping into the world of documentary filmmaking. We don't know where it could go. We hope it doesn't cannibalize the show. We don't think it will.
I don't think so.
But, I think there's a space for in the studio and then out in the wild.
Absolutely.
So
Chapeau.
thank you.
You
So that's
are
what we're doing
you are
now.
literally just finding the niche, what is missing, and you're going into it. So Is this a new business? It's a separate company, or it's
So
part
we
of the
JV'd with
Mosho
a
company?
JV'd with a production company called Kraken, Kraken Production Studios, and we said, we're not just going to have Kraken do our on the go. They're actually going to do our production of our in studio as
Right,
well.
right.
So now we have our own in-house production arm that maybe you can say merged or JV'd with an existing one of 2 years. They've had excellent, mashallah, clients like Middle Beast, Benali, and other MOC entities. So they're no slouch, and they're still going to run that and come on board as the Mo Show's official production arm, which I think was an area that needed a bit more love from our side.
Right.
We wanted to up the production levels. We wanted to invest heavily on what we can do outside of the studio. And let me tell you, like, some of the shots that we took from Osaka are phenomenal. Like
Mashallah.
they capturing moments. Really,
I think I saw
can
a
be
short reel
Yeah,
or
we did that
something. Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah.
I think it's way more compelling when you're in the wild than
True.
anything shot in the studio.
True.
It's a journey. It's a journey.
It's a
So,
journey.
yeah.
So, mashallah, yani, again, I don't want to just focus on the fact of, the production that you're doing, because that's spectacular, right? But you jumped in, you dove basically, without the experience of business, of running a business, of, and look at you, mashallah, tabarakallah, you're doing JVs now, and and this is in a span of 5 years.
When are you going to be ready for anything?
Yes.
We can sit here and speak to people about it until.
What's your advice to somebody that would like to start up a new business
Fail.
in any domain?
Fail as much as you can. I mean, I think as long as you're tallying up fails, eventually you'll get to the aha. People are like so scared of failing. Again, I told you that I come from a life of all I did was fail. But get those failures out the way. It was Stephen Bartlett who said, just fail quickly. Get all your failures out the way. So when you get to number 27, it's it. Now that worked for me. I'm hoping that the next person doesn't take 26 failures to get to 27. But experience, and I think by virtue of failing, you know what's for you and you know what's not for you.
Yeah.
Far from having figured it out, but I'm holding on to this one thing that I feel perhaps is not what I'm used to, which is failing.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah, you are achieving and overachieving, and
you.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Again, وبنياتكم ترزقون. فنيتك ما شاء الله طيبة وصافية, and God is blessing every movement that you're doing, and from one to the next. So
Can I tell you what's been pretty cool, especially on Twitter, because it's the Wild West?
yeah.
Early days, including up until year 5, many people saying, speak Arabic, افتخر بلغتك.
Yeah.
But today, it's more like, thank you for representing us.
Yeah.
As opposed to why English. TikTok, we get a bit of the Wild West there as well. But the percentage is 90% lower than it used to be. People are understanding
The reason why.
Especially when you have people responding in, Ya Jama'ah, it's one of the few English podcasts. We have 250 Saudi podcasters. ما لقيتوا اللي تمسكوا في هذا. ومترجم بالعربي. Like they're starting to see it as national pride.
Yeah.
As you know what? Yeah, we actually need this to go against what's being said about us. Empower this guy as opposed to throwing him under the bus. So it's amazing to see that happening with less frequency. And that's something that I'm a bit sensitive. So that's something that maybe bothered me early days. But people aren't going to understand your message from the beginning, especially when it's new. And maybe they have a point. سعودي يتكلم بالعربي, and I get a lot of people, especially when I'm in Riyadh, saying, why English? And through dialogue, they scratch, they're like, okay, no, we get it now. We get it. You're right. These people in the West, they don't know anything about us. And like we keep going, and we support you.
Yeah. So how did you deal with that in the beginning? I mean, all this flashback and these, and listen and watching the comments or reading the comments. And did you do that? Would you go and read the comments?
I did absolutely. I think I read it so I can be fueled to keep going until they get it. You're not going to please anyone. If you're going to go through life thinking that you're going to please everyone, you're going to be unhappy for the rest of your life. But I used it as fuel. Let's see how big this can be until we are something so big and meaningful that it makes them proud that it's a Saudi platform. Nothing makes me prouder than when I read something in someone's tweet or Sharq Al-Awsat did an amazing piece exactly a year ago, when we had Gary V on, and Al-Podcast Al-Saudi, the Mo Show. Forget about me. The Saudi podcast.
Right.
When I read that, I was like, the fact that they're we claim you. It's an amazing sensation.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah.
Yeah.
It's something that you're looking forward to Nuh and his siblings to say, that's my dad.
For example, yeah.
Right? That's my dad.
Honestly, I don't take that for granted. People buying into, he represents us. Yeah, it wasn't year one. I didn't think that we'd ever get there.
It's a responsibility, Mo.
I think so.
It's a big responsibility.
I think so.
To represent people is a big responsibility. I mean, to represent yourself in the proper way is a responsibility, right? Let alone to represent a country, to represent people. And it is a big responsibility. And mashallah, you've been taking it very well and have shown and represented Saudi Arabia in the most beautiful way. فالله يبارك لك يعني.
We translated from episode 1 عشان ولا حد يفصل علينا. From episode 1, it's been translated.
In this podcast, I've also been faced with ليش, why in English? When I started in English. And a lot of people were saying, no, ليش يعني? It should be in Arabic. What's Arabic?
I get it. I get the question.
Our podcast is not purely English. So I said, okay, listen, at the end of the day, and I want the guests to be very comfortable. I know it's strictly Saudi guests. All right. So we're highlighting Saudis. But then, like yourself and even myself, we express ourselves better in English. Yeah. Okay. Due to our education, due to our backgrounds, whatever. But then there are lots of Saudis that they speak fluent English, but they express themselves better in Arabic. Yeah. Each to his own.
Yeah.
And if nihaya, it's about how can you express yourself in the right way. So we have some sessions in English, some are in Arabic, some are like bilingual, jumping around from English to Arabic. But correctly, that there's a translation, and that's one of the nice things of AI, right? Yeah, there's the CC that you can choose the translation you want, and it comes out there. خلاص انتهينا.
I say, Dina, I think we're beyond why English. I think we should expand to other languages. My cousin married a Spanish girl. They have 2 boys, and she's such a fan of the show. And she's like, I'm going to hopefully one day my son Walid will start something and it can be Spanish. Talking about Saudi and what it's like over here.
Look at that inspiration.
Or I know French is spoken a lot in our country. So I think we should look beyond just English and see, what other languages can we transport what's happening in Saudi to the world and communicate.
Absolutely, fair enough. I love that. I love that concept. So if you were to be giving an advice, for somebody that would want to start a podcast, what would it be?
I think I would ask them what their message is. What do they want to get out of it? Now, a lot of people start a podcast because it's the in thing right now. We get a lot of these events in Riyadh that happen literally every other day. Can you come set up your podcast and be here? I was like, great, we will. Which guests can you offer us? Oh, whoever you find there. Like, sorry, that's not going to work for us. And they're kind of like big events, like I'm reluctant to say no to them because it's not a good look. But I know that they have a box to check, in 100 speakers, 50 retail, we need 10,000 footfall and 2 podcast studios.
Right.
So my point is, don't box check. If I'm going to come, and I'll come, and I'll be the first one to come to anything related to any government event or private sector or whatever. But you need to tell me who's going to be there, who we can speak to. We'll plan the questions and we'll come. So my question to the person who wants to start the podcast is, what would your message be? You need to understand that 80% of podcasts ever created never made it past episode 6. Big graveyard of 6 and below.
Wow.
But what does that tell you? Let me start it because I want to be famous, or it's the in thing right now, or I want attention, or I'm bored.
Right.
From the ones that went 7 onwards, only 1% of them made it to episode 21.
No way. I should
do you
be pretty
realize
proud.
the filtration?
We should be pretty proud.
0.0, yeah, it's
75 plus.
absolutely.
Mashallah, I
So
never knew that.
look at your message. Ask yourself how long. It's not something that you're just going to do it, for.
Yeah.
And there were some really talented people who I've met in my journey of what I do. I thought they would continue, but غرزوا after 15, 17
Yeah, but
episodes.
no, it's such a responsibility. I mean, come on, the consistency you're talking about.
You got to be crazy. You got to
No,
love
it's
it
not
crazy.
just it's not just love it crazy. Akhi. Inta, you have an episode today. You have a guest, right? You have everything set. You cannot back out. You have these high ranked guests, and you wake up tired. Allahu a'lam what happened last night. You have this. Your eyes are bloodshot. Huh? You're not in the zone, but you have to do it.
Yeah. We can make excuses from now until Yawm al-Qiyamah. How badly do you want it? Because the person who you're competing against is not going to make those excuses. He might also be more tired. He might also be متضارب بالمدام. He might also be whatever you want to call it. Can't just deal with anyone
Life.
right now. But he'll find himself in the studio recording. Now, you're either making progress or excuses. So that's why I ask, how badly do you want it?
So what's your remedy? What's the secret of it's the worst day, but I have to do this. So you have a ritual that you do?
No,
or
I just never want to end up in Jeddah industrial city.
So
I don't want to go back to that.
all right, fair enough.
And the old saying is, if you're not disciplined with your time, someone will be. I don't want anyone to ever be disciplined with my time again. I never, ever, because look, I'm not trying to, for some people, like corporate, it can work for them and they're amazing. Like my brother.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it didn't. Like I have nightmares of clock punching.
Yep.
I don't want to go back to that. So as long as I am doing this out of passion, which I love doing, and if I'm ever slacking, I just clock punching. الصناعية هنا.
البعبع.
So that's what keeps me going. I don't want to go back to a zone where I felt so invisible, and I'm doing work that can make me replaceable on Sunday morning if I drop dead on Thursday. And whatever I do, end of the day, it's the brand that's showing. In my case, it was Mobil engine oil. So whatever I do, it's not really me.
Right.
Right. Today, it's me. I'm creative. National duty. I feel valuable. And maybe I'm not so replaceable on Sunday morning if I pass away on Thursday. These are things that go on in my mind.
Right.
Right. I mean, but like, I come from a zone where I kind of was replaceable. Today, maybe not so much. But keep working hard, because there's probably a 17, 18-year-old today that could be the Mosho 2.0.
Right.
So you take your foot off the gas, you could be yesterday's news.
Yeah.
For that, I think that keeps me going. Bottom line, I frigging love what I do.
Alhamdulillah.
I love what I do.
I think that passion is what
love it.
is the trigger, right? I've been asked that question once, what keeps you going? And it's like passion.
I love it.
You have to believe what you're doing, and you have to really love it and be passionate about it. That's what's going to keep you resilient, keep you going, the consistency, etc. I think I hugged the mic more than enough. And I know that everyone has probably a million and one questions. So to be fair,
maybe there's no questions.
I'm sure there are plenty. So let's take turns, please.
This has been so inspiring. I'm Hiba Zamzami. I'm a coach on the side. I have my 9 to 5, and I do coaching as well. And there is a question I usually like to ask my clients. What is the message you would like to tell yourself, your younger self? And what do you envision your older self would tell you now?
What I would tell my younger self, maybe we covered it, maybe we didn't, is fail. I mean, don't look at failures as the end of everything. Failures is something that you need to tally up until you find this is it for me. Maybe growing up, I looked at failures, with too much sensitivity. And oh my God, I'm never going to amount to anything. No, I failed at this, yalla li ba'du. It's fine. It will come. I won't tell my younger self, by the way, in 20 20 at the age of 37, you are going to find this and it's all going to be good. No, I would say fail as much as you can. Eventually, you'll get to what is you. There's nothing wrong with failing. And I think what I would tell, what I'd want my older self to ask me today, was that the question?
What like if your future self is gonna thank you for for anything you're doing right now, or is a message that what do you envision that would be?
That's a harder one. But I would like to ask my future self if, when it was all said and done, did it end well? Did I make everyone proud? Did I do it for the 20, 30 years I have in mind? Did I get to the point where I can host anyone I want? Today, it's, we can't, we're still growing. There are many people who I want on the show, and for whatever reason, I can't. But did I get to the point where it became a platform for soft power from Saudi Arabia? Did I change the world's perceptions? Were we able to get whoever we want? And did I make my people proud? I think that would be the question I would ask my future self. How did it end? غششنا يعني. Thank you so much for your question. I appreciate it.
So, Oshay, wonderful job on the other side of the mic. We really enjoyed it today. So, 2 questions. One, what was your aha moment, your Rogan experience moment, where you felt like, I did it? 2 is if you had a chance to interview anyone in the world, who would it be? You said there's still a few people, so who would that be?
The aha moment is when Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki's team reached out and they asked if I can get him on the show. I said, I'll check my schedule.
Okay.
I said, when and where? This is a dream come true. And then 2 weeks later, he showed up at my house. And استحيت على دمي. When I saw him, I was like, I'm so sorry that you came to me. I wish we did this in your studio. He's like, Mohammed, is this your house? قلت له, yeah, it is. He's like, أجيك مرة مرتين وعشرة.
ما شاء الله تبارك
عبد العزيز من تركي الفيصل.
Right, amazing.
Then we got into the house and there was stairs to my studio and then there was an elevator. I'm like, Mir Abdul Aziz, stairs or elevator? قال لي محمد.
Don't ask that
وزير
question,
الرياضة.
yeah?
I'm like, sorry, I'm just a bit nervous. That was the aha moment.
Okay.
Prince Abdul Aziz coming to my house, and that's when I knew we were onto something.
Okay, nice.
It's ridiculous. It's like أحلام العصر. And I think the second one is in the long, يعني wishful MBS for sure. And I think I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think maybe one of the reasons why he would is when he's so convinced that he'd want to put me on the undisputed map. This is our Joe Rogan, because I mean, imagine if I have him on, there's going to be life before and after.
Right.
For me.
You were pretty much in that situation when you were greeting Trump.
But
and you said, I'm the Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And I mean...
and he giggled.
But
that's one thing. But having him on...
You sparked it. It's there.
Having him on is another life. Like maybe I'm never ready for that moment.
It's coming, Mo. It's coming, inshallah.
Yeah, it's attractive.
Yes.
That's in the very wishful. But in the more realistic, Adil al-Jubair for sure. And we're in touch with his team.
Okay.
Yeah. Inshallah, he would be just... no introduction needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, no introduction needed.
Wonderful.
MashaAllah.
I was in Como with him. And I saw how hard this guy works. When I say 9 meetings back to back to back, 45 minutes each, and he walks everyone out of where the meeting was, and then he greets the next person and he's there for 45 minutes, and he does that for 8 hours after giving 2 speeches. I've never seen anything like that.
Mo,
we're lucky to have someone like him.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, not definitely minimizing from what he's doing. It's spectacular, but to be fair, all our ministers are working in such a phenomenal way. Yeah. They are working over the clock.
Yeah.
And it's not just the ministers, it's the ministers and their vices. And all the teams that are working under them are working around the clock.
They're on it. I was speaking to someone today.
We wouldn't be able to be where we are today if it wasn't these people working around the clock. It's not a one-man show. Yeah. It's a one-man leader that had a whole country driven like crazy.
Can I just add to that? Sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, please do.
So I was speaking to
I
someone
couldn't let
today.
it go because
don't.
It's really phenomenal how the whole country, all these leaders and everybody is working 24/7, weekdays, weekends, أعياد, holidays, and nobody's saying, "Oof, I don't want to do this." There's this belief. Huh? There's this belief and there's this passion, and it's driving them. Sorry, I was I couldn't.
There are a few that come to mind and that made me feel that, wow, I feel like English is a prerequisite today to become a minister in Saudi and fluent. So I think of His Excellency Abdullah Sawaha, Al-Ibrahim, Minister of Economy.
Dr. Majid Al-Qasabi. Listen, I didn't want to throw names because we'll end up missing on one of them.
True.
There's all of them.
But these people can run multinational, Fortune 500 companies. Like that's the level of our ministers today, and
their teams.
And their teams. I went into the Ministry of Telecom for Riyadh for a meeting, and it's kind of a ministry that runs under the radar. It's not sports or culture or siha. It's there, it's doing its job, but it's under the radar. 900 employees. I walked in, it looked like NASA. Was it وزارة الاتصالات والتقنية الرقمية, if I'm not mistaken. I was really blown away by the ship that His Excellency Abdullah Sawaha runs. It is very impressive. And it was me and 9 people on the other side. And I was like, in what world am I ever like? I have no business being Wizara speaking to 9 people, but it was with regards to getting His Excellency on the show, inshallah.
STC, if you go to their offices, it feels like you're walking to Google. The examples are limitless.
تكلمنا على البنية التحتية.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, because actually it's related to my question. So more for someone like you who wouldn't thrive in the traditional educational or corporate systems, what kind of leadership qualities would have brought the best in you or inspired you at a sooner stage and lifted that gray cloud that was following you all those years?
I think an environment that was more conducive to me not feeling condescended by the system that I was in. يعني أنا كنت محبط that you're in the 5th level of math in this school. You in English writing, you are over here, which doesn't really do much to make you feel that you're a little more than. I mean, we can agree that sometimes the approach in no, I'm good, I'm worth it, I can do it, is all it takes to actually do the thing. So a system that didn't segregate based on intelligence or perceived intelligence would have been a better system.
With regards to a person who would have had an impact on your life, whether someone who was in school or part of your social circle or family, what kind of qualities would that person or attributes would that person have if the system wasn't designed to accommodate for people like you? So what kind of qualities? Would it be something like being more empathetic, patient, creative?
Yeah,
what kind of people would have made a difference in your life at an earlier stage?
I found that when I moved to the US, they were more sensitive to those who could have a learning disability. I just had ADD. I didn't have dyslexic or ADHD. I just أسرح sometimes. So there was that system to take care of people who are like that and maybe approach you from a different way. In the UK, that didn't exist. I'm talking 98, 9, 2000. I don't know if things have changed. So US were more sensitive to that. Hatta they prescribed me to Adderall, which is some medicine that helps you think more. I didn't like it. I took it once or twice. But in the UK, they were not sensitive to those who maybe come from a different angle in terms of learning. Yeah. So that I resent that, and I just hope that that's not the case today. I hope that there's more empathy towards those who عندهم صعوبة or تحديات في التعليم. You know that from all the things that have changed post-industrial revolution till today, the education system is the one that hasn't, where it's 20 students, 15, 20 to 1, 12 subjects till the age of however old you are. So maybe that, I think the system is dated. Now, don't ask me what it should be, but if I was in that field and if I was part of some think tank, I'm sure I can think of something. It's bad enough that people say that the schooling system is a glorified nanny system, and I hate to think that that's the case. Obviously,
it's been architectured to let's not get
Produce,
into that.
you know,
It
could be better.
I
The
mean,
9
it
to
could be
5.
better. Let's
it
leave
could
it
be
at
better.
that right
It
now.
could be better.
And have these discussions offline where we're ignite actually a change. Okay, and then come on a podcast and talk about it. But there's definitely a huge opportunity.
And I do not blame any parent who homeschools. Now the problem with that is obviously friends and all that, and how social skills. But I do not resent any parent that decides to homeschool their kids.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thank you.
And I always said that if Vision 2030 had a tagline, it would be whatever can be better will be better. And I wish
Very
that
true.
can be applied
I love
to the
that.
education system.
I love that.
Is whatever can be better being better in the ولا بس ماشيين على البركة because we did that for the past 100 years هنستمر.
You know what I think? Just to be fair, we had so many pillars that needed to be worked on and to be changed. So to be fair, it's not possible for absolutely everything to change at the same time.
True.
If we went from the AI, obviously, everything that happened with the e-commerce, everything, the examples that we talked about, the industry, the mining sector, the oil and gas sector,
Yep.
all the diversification that's happening in the economy, the tourism, the so many. Actually,
Hajj and Umrah.
Hajj and Umrah.
That's another under the radar one.
So all of these pillars have pivoted in an unbelievable way. It's just fair enough that some things were a little bit slagged behind, but I don't think it's being ignored. It's just time is coming.
Talking education on a global level.
On a global level, on a global level, I think we will strike the difference and the change in Saudi Arabia, and inshallah the world will follow. Inshallah.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
Yeah, thanks for the talk. I'm interested as a host, how do you manage to self-censor your own opinion, especially when you have a controversial topic discussed and you would feel you wanted your counterparty to feel safe and express their ideas, and when you have your own opposite ideas?
It's a great question, but I think that makes it all the more engaging, right? I think twice on the podcast, and I want to start using it more. I told myself this year I want to start using it more, saying the words, I disagree. Something that simple. Because the moment, and that's trailer worthy, because the moment you wait 1 second, what's happening now? But the phones go down, the ears come up. I had a debate
Should have
with.
said that earlier. I would have disagreed way more with you.
I'm not going to give you my secrets till after the fact.
Fair enough.
I had a British sports pundit who was head of football at the Telegraph by the name of Henry Winter. Akhu Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad, if you guys know who that is. So واحد طلع Sheikh, mashallah, and he heads Cambridge Muslim College in the UK with Tani, sports writer. And me and him went on a debate back and forth. He said what he said about Saudi. I said what I said about England and how they don't show all the 3 p.m. football matches, because he said انتم ملاعبكم. I was just here نصها فاضية. قلت له نحن we don't ban games on TV into the best league in the world, and your 3 p.m. kickoffs on Saturday, which is 8 matches, are not on TV. Now, best league in the world, why don't the people of England, why can't they get to watch the best league in the world? But the people in Saudi can watch your league? So you guys force people to go to the stadiums. لو نحن شفرنا, every seat will be full. He's like, you got me there, Mohammed. Got a few other things that I didn't like that I cut out. He said some things that I just not going to put on my platform. I didn't even get it screened by the Wizara. I'lam. I said, nope, that's not going out. So there are a few times where we cut things out. But if it's non-negative Saudi, no, keep it. I'll keep it in. But a few negative things that were said about Saudi that I didn't like, and luckily I control the bottlenecks of where information flows today. يعني it's the West controlling the narrative. Felt so good that I control the narrative now. I can mute you if I wanted to. So it felt good
Absolutely.
to cut that part out.
MashaAllah.
Yeah. Thank you. Later I'll tell you what he said.
تفضل.
Thank you so much. It's understatement to say that your Your passion radiates in this room.
Thank you.
And I remembered it's a comment. I remembered Mark Twain, choose the job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
So that's the comment. And the question is, how do you choose your guests? You mentioned the other podcasters doing checklists.
Yeah.
So how do you go about, is it a skill set? Is it a theme? How do you choose them? And how do you prepare?
We are in the middle of hiring someone to business develop in terms of getting people on the show. We have been so lucky, and maybe just by virtue of getting our content out there, we've been so lucky by people knocking on our doors. Okay, there are a few people who we reached out to, but 95% of the people that came on the show, they initiated contact. But I think in short, to answer your question, I want to show 360 degrees of the pie of Saudi. Like nobody would have thought Hessa Sederi, episode around 70s, archaeologist, Saudi female, aristocratic family, if you will, and she studied archaeology and worked in Saudi, looking for archaeological sites and facts and artifacts, and now she works at the Ministry of Culture for 10 years. She's been doing this, and it was one of the most, let's say, unexpected hits, because in what platform will a Saudi female archaeologist be news to people living around the world?
True, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it's so niche. So أضرب المثل فيها, because it's a very niche subject, and I think it's my job to know a little bit about a lot, so I can have conversations with with the entrepreneur, with the bird watcher, with the archaeologist. Tomorrow I'm shooting with an artist who does some beautiful artwork. She flew in from the UK for this. So I look for the story until I complete the 360-degree pie, because I think the more diverse I can show this platform to be, and I think one of the best compliments I can get is, Mohammed, wow, you can really speak to anyone. That is because I know Joe Rogan can speak to anyone about anything, and he'll give them space and all that. So just to show power in diversity, I think the platform flexes most when it shows people from all walks of life. And I'm excited about tomorrow's episode because we've never had an artist on, and she's very good at what she does. So I look for the story and I try to make it as diverse as possible. And الصراحة, from barakat Rabbana, we've never had, as I said earlier, we've never been in a position where we didn't have a guest, and that's a luxury. Like I can imagine some shows, there's a bit of a, we don't know what to do right now. No one's available. What do we do? Who do we go? The show has to go on. And it's been an episode every 10 and a half days in 5 years by luck. But as the old saying goes, maybe you make your own luck.
Absolutely.
But alhamdulillah, beginning and end, نقول alhamdulillah.
It is hard work, and you enjoy what you do, and therefore people are happy to be on our show, want to be on your show.
Such an honor.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
صراحة.
ايه.
Honor.
طيب إذا ممكن.
أول حاجة محمد أحب أقول لك شكرا.
العفو.
ما إحنا متعودين نشوفك تتكلم بالعربي.
اوكي.
فجدا مبسوط إني شفتك اليوم. أنا سويت 11 بودكاست.
ما شاء الله.
كلها فشلت. طيب بدأت من 2006 أيام ما كانت تبرمج وتسوي وكله، وخلاص قلت أنا ما عاد حسوي بودكاست تاني.
الكل 2006.
يس.
ما شاء الله.
في سيرفر.
أوكي.
لسه ما في أي هوستنج، لازم تحطها في سيرفر حقك وترفع وتسوي RSS وتبرمج وتعمل.
سبقت الكل.
اي فانا بس جالس اقول بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تيستينج 1 2 3. هذه كانت اول حلقه. ابغى اعرف ايش هو ذا البودكاست. فخلاص بعد ما استسلمت وقلت خلاص ما عاد حسوي بودكاست، انا شكلي فاشل جدا في البودكاست. بعدين لما شفت البودكاست حقك والله العظيم انه اتحمست ورجعت ومن اول جديد بدات تاني في البودكاست، وجدا مبسوط. وما اعرف ايش اقول لك، يعني قديش انت الهمتني. يعني انا دائما اكتب لك في انستغرام يور ماي هيرو، ودائما اطفشك برسائل. بس يعني
I wasn't ready for this.
يعني really you're an inspiration. يعني انا في نفس عمرك ويو انسبايرد مي. فتخيل ايش بتسوي في العالم. طيب وبعدين عندك ديسلكسيا و ADHD كمان زيي يعني انا دوبني سامع هنا كنت بزعق بس انت بتسجله.
Can I give him a hug?
الله يحفظك. الله يسعدك.
ان شاء الله بس رديت عليك على الانستغرام.
ايوه رديت علي. ايوه
اوكي
ايوه
الحمد لله.
الله يحفظك كثير. الله يسعدك.
طب اليوم بتصور and you're still shooting?
يس بودكاست محمد بحارث. هدفي انه اكون الشخص اللي يعرف الناس على المجالات في كل مكان. يعني مثلا ضيفتي كانت رتيل برضو انا عرفتها عن طريق البرنامج حقك. فهدفي انه اي شخص في المرحله التعليميه بيعرف ايش هذه الوظيفه، ايش في وظائف في الدنيا، ايش هذا الشخص بيسوي، ايش هذا بيعمل، فيجي يلاقي كل احد. يعني مثلا حقون ناسا ايش يسووا، كم وظيفه في ناسا موجوده، عشان اذا تبي تطلع احد للفضاء ايش تحتاج، يعني ايش التيم اللي تحتاجه، الروكيت انجينير ايش لازم يدرس عشان نركزوا من هم صغار ايش يعملوا. ف يعني بحاول انا قدر الامكان. والديسلكسيا انيشيتيف برضه. الله يحفظك كثير.
Wow. يعني we just talked about Albert Einstein. He had dyslexia.
Yeah.
Right? We can use it to our advantage.
But for me, I have يعني like dyslexia and ADHD stage 4. So I'm on what you call Adderall is methylphenidate for over than 30 years. 35 years. So if I stop it and I get stressed, my brain is like 22 volts and here is 110 volts. So they both crash together. So sometimes I can't control half of my body because of that.
You have to maintain the dosage of medicine to equalize.
I have not to get emotional, not to get happy, not to get sad, not to get angry. So the brain will not have a seizure with the voltage.
Was it God gives his hardest tests to his strongest soldiers?
الحمد لله.
Something like that.
الحمد لله. الحمد
So
لله.
I admire you.
الله يحفظك كثير. الله يكرمك
ما
كثير.
شاء الله والله بتسعد. Amazing.
شكرا
الله
شكرا
يحفظك.
مداخلة
Thanks, Ahmed.
صراحة يعني الله يعطيك العافية. شكرا لك. I think إنه يعني
Sorry, one second.
مسك.
I remember you now. You have a very decent following on Twitter, close to 50,000.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I remembered you. Yeah.
There you
Yeah. MashaAllah. Yeah. I remember. Trust me, I know it's not easy to get a big following on Twitter. أنا 5 سنين و15,000. It's 50K. ما شاء الله.
ما شاء الله تبارك الله.
والله.
ما شاء الله.
حبيبي وحميد.
الله يعطيك
Thanks
العافية.
for your question.
ترى قبل ما تروح باخذ صورة معاك وجبت لك كتب.
على طول أنا اللي أتصور معك
Absolutely.
حبيبي. والله. For
Absolutely.
sure. Thanks حبيبي محمد. What a legend. حليله.
Couldn't get a better ending than that. صراحة يعني
So heartwarming.
Obviously, you have touched millions of people, and this is just one example of that was happened to be here that was able to tell you to what extent you have touched their lives.
That's crazy.
So
I think that
يعني-
beats the Jakarta story.
مليون.
Yeah.
مليون. This was real. This is very
It
real.
was real. Yeah.
It's very real.
In short, this was real. Thank you, Dina, for doing this.
Thank
Wallah.
you. Thank you, Mo,
So much.
for being real, for sharing the inspiration, for sharing your journey, a lot of learnings, a lot of wisdom, a lot of advice. You showed leadership, you showed compassion, you showed us what it means when you have real conversations with people and what the positive impact that you can do and that you do. You know, and that you're advising others also to do the same. It's epic what you're doing, and we thank you for
so
everything
much.
you're doing. We wish you all the best. Looking forward to all the documentaries that are coming out. I can't wait to see them. Obviously, the Mo Show, yani, I don't see an end to it because, mashallah, we have so much, and the content is just, yani, one generation after the other. So, mashallah, yani, I think, yani, until you'll be a grandfather, you will
To start training my sons
you
and
will-
daughter to
you
enter
will
the
be
space.
you will be on yani, highlighting once again, you know, the amazing Saudi Arabia.
Inshallah. Thank you,
But
Dina.
thank you for this amazing inspiration. Thank you for everything. Thank you to the audience,
Yeah,
obviously.
honestly, I mean,
This is not a regular audience. Thank you to the leaders of 2030. They are also the people that are shaping Saudi Arabia today. So thank you, obviously, for everyone. Thank you to the Yacht Club, our venue sponsors, for this amazing venue.
thank you, Dina. Thank you, everyone in the studio.
Thank you to our sponsors.
felt like a studio. I want to shoot episodes here.